Thank you for coming. It is of interest, perhaps only to me. I graduated from Fenn exactly 56 years ago today. I was one of 25 members of the 25th graduating class. There was a party after graduation, but it was only for Roger and Eleanor and Carl Ward and trustees and some other people. No party for the graduates. So this is my graduation party. It's a nice party. Have a good time. It is a little surreal to sit there for 2 hours and listen to people say nice things about you for the most part. There are a couple of things, but it is a little surreal. Anyway, before I say anything else, Sue Finney, where are you? Sue Finney's retiring next week. Several years ago, Jim Kittendoff said to me, it begins with Sue Finney, it ends with Jim Carter, and there are a lot of excellent teachers in between. So Sue, it's been a great 23 years, and what are we going to do in September? We won't be writing any comments. We won't be correcting any papers. Now, some of you, when you got the save the date card, may have thought you were coming to a different kind of celebration. Because I know there's a small group in California that were pretty sure this was a save-the-date card for a gay wedding. Now, if that's what you thought and you're disappointed, I'm sorry, but it's my graduation party. That's true. That's true. It's a very small group, but it's California, too. Several other occasions I have teased Jerry Ward with the thought that I might retire. One of my biggest concerns always was, what would I say? Assuming I got a party like Albright and Bisco did. And I asked Reed about that recently. He told me not to worry. He said, no one will have any idea what you said by Sunday morning. I gave that some thought and decided he was probably right, because when Bob Duncan retired, all I remember about his very thoughtful speech was that his son Richie was very funny. And when Mark Bisco retired, he talked about eating a peck of salt together, some Roman general said that, and a full court press and beating Faye. I came across his speech recently and reread it. And then as for Reed's party, not a clue. And Reed did tell me that by the time this part of the evening came around, I might be a bit emotional. It's hard to believe. Reed will tell you I never cry at anything. If that turns out to be true, bear with me while I try to stand back and breathe deeply. Now, every senior at some point during the year is asked to give a reflection during all school meeting. I'm a senior, and this is my reflection. You've heard this before tonight, but it takes a village. I do believe that. And Fenn has been my village for 44 years, 4 as a student, 40 as a teacher. Now, in this village, it's a given that teachers are meant to make students feel good about themselves, and that's certainly what I remember most from my days as a student back in the 50s. Don Frothingham, Dave Edgar, Barry Cole, and Mark Gibson all made me feel that they cared. They took a personal interest in me, they made me feel good about myself. And when I returned to teach, that same feeling was evident with Mark Bisco, Reed Albright, Dave Hughes, all of them providing daily evidence of the importance of showing students that they cared. It's also very important that we who work here support each other, encourage each other, teach each other. I learned a lot from the already mentioned threesome of Mark, Reed, and Dave, Patsy Eads, and many others. But the person I'm most indebted to is Di Siemens. Di, are you here someplace? Di and I team taught together. Is that what we call it? We team taught. We team taught 6th grade history. I was very much a rookie teacher. And she gave me a lot of confidence. She made me feel that I was a good teacher, and she was very important in my development as a teacher. So I hope every teacher who comes here has a diocese who will help you to be a better teacher and give you confidence that you are a good teacher. Whether you're brand new, or whether you've taught for 20 years, or even if you're a headmaster, we all need that kind of support from each other that gives confidence and makes you feel good about what you do. Just a little emotional. Parents are obviously a very important part of this village as well, and certainly over the years I've felt tremendous support from a lot of parents. You've been nice enough to let me know you thought I've connected well with your sons. You paid me compliments. You've been my friends. You've written me letters that have made me feel really good about what I do, and I thank you for all the nice things you have said. And perhaps a less obvious piece of this village is that there are times when we teachers need to make you parents feel good about your sons. We live with them too. We often have more experience with 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds than you have had. And we can take the long view and help you to realize that a lot of your worries and concerns will pass, and that your sons really are pretty terrific young men. And now comes the part where I might actually get emotional. The piece of this village that I'm not sure your sons or you graduates have realized is how important students are in making teachers feel that what we do is worthwhile. How can you not feel good about what you do when a student writes you a note? By the way, I've really enjoyed your class so far. Don't ruin it for me. These are all actual quotes. You made history fun for me, a challenge for anyone. And this from Tyler Streetman, I believe. I learned a lot more than I wanted to in your history. Equally, when a ninth grader walks in your class and says, I need a hug today, and gives you one, or young men who, after they leave Finn, invite you to their musical recitals, athletic contests, graduation parties, weddings, when 15 of them show up at your house on a weekend with paintbrushes and ladders and paint your entire house because they think it looks a little drab and needs to be covered. When a young man asks you to be at the ceremony when he officially becomes a United States Marine and gets his lieutenant's bars pinned on for the first time. When a young man asks you to officiate at his wedding. And finally, when you get a phone call at 7 a.m. informing you that the wife of a former student has just given birth to a son, and, and they'd like to name him Carter. It's very hard not to feel good about what you do when things like that happen. I might also have mentioned that 10 years ago a former student asked me formally for my daughter Allison's hand in marriage, but I suspect that had very little to do with any impression I made on her. Hopefully a lot more to do with the impression that she had made on me. Whatever, it was a very nice thing to have happen. 45 years ago, a man named Neil Bull hired me to teach at Robert Academy in Istanbul. He told me he would pay me $2,000 a year, which he admitted was not a lot of money, but he said a lot of my income would be psychic. What he meant was that I would have an incredible view across the Bosphorus of the Anatolian hills. He was right. It was a pretty impressive view. What he didn't tell me, but I'm sure he knew, is that the rewards of teaching are not the view out the window, or the enormous sums of money teachers get paid. But it is what happens in the classroom and on the playing fields that has always been the best part of being here. The lessons taught and learned, the experiences shared, the funny moments, the friends acquired. It's been 40 years well spent. Two more things. Janet and Bob, happy 45th anniversary. Dave Rouse, where are you?